All right, so we're diving deep into Bitcoin today,
Definitely.
specifically its history.
Yeah.
Our listeners have expressed a bunch of interest in this topic.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the idea that this could really, I don't know, change the world, or maybe they're just curious.
Mm.
But either way, I think it's super fascinating, and I think a good place to start is with the history.
For sure.
We're going to be looking at an excerpt from an article called The History of Bitcoin, a complete timeline of the start of Web3.
Okay.
So first things first,
Yeah.
what is Bitcoin? I mean, you hear all this crazy stuff about it, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
digital gold and blockchain and decentralized and
It's a lot.
yeah, it's like a whole new language.
Yeah, for sure. It can feel very different.
Yeah.
But I think if you strip it all back and remove the jargon, at its core, Bitcoin is a digital currency
Okay.
that operates on a peer-to-peer network,
Okay.
meaning it's not controlled by
So no banks.
no banks, no government.
How does that even work?
That's where the blockchain comes in.
Oh, here we go. Blockchain.
Blockchain, right. So imagine this massive public ledger
Okay.
that tracks every single Bitcoin transaction ever made.
Whoa.
And this ledger is distributed across a network of computers, making it both incredibly secure and transparent.
Okay.
No single entity can tamper with it, hence the term trustless.
Oh, I see.
You don't need to rely on traditional institutions to handle your money.
So it's like, if you don't trust the banks,
Exactly.
this is for you.
Yeah. And that actually gets right at the history of it.
Okay.
So to give you an example, the smallest unit of Bitcoin is called a Satoshi,
Okay.
named after the mysterious creator Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh, right. Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah.
We don't know who that is.
We still don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So this person or group of people,
Or group of people.
they created this whole thing.
And, do know that on January 3rd, 2009, they mined the very first block,
Wow.
the Genesis block?
Okay, hold on. Mine.
Good question.
Like we're digging for gold or something.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
Because mining is the process through which new Bitcoins are created.
Okay.
It involves these specialized computers solving complex computational puzzles.
Okay.
Think of it as like this global digital gold rush.
I like that.
Yeah, with miners competing to add the next block to the chain.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's mining.
Okay, so how does this tie into the limited supply of 21 million?
Another great question.
I'm full of them today.
So every time a block is mined,
Yeah.
the miner receives a reward in Bitcoin.
Okay.
That reward started at 50 Bitcoins.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It gets halved roughly every 4 years.
It goes down.
It goes down every 4 years.
Yeah.
So the reward shrinks. What's the point of that?
It's all about controlling the rate at which new Bitcoins are created.
I see.
It ensures scarcity.
So that's like, everyone knows scarcity drives up value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's basic economics. Less supply, more demand, higher prices.
Precisely. And that built-in scarcity is one of the key reasons why some people view Bitcoin as a potential store of value, like digital gold.
Okay, so we've got this mystery creator,
Yeah.
revolutionary tech, limited supply.
Mm.
Sounds like a recipe for
A wild ride.
a wild ride. And speaking of wild rides,
Oh, here we go.
Bitcoin's price.
Oh, yeah.
Anything but stable, right?
Volatility is an understatement.
I mean,
It's gone from worthless to, over $60,000 at its peak.
it's crazy.
It's been a journey.
So let's, I guess, buckle up and talk about the price.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so before we get into the price stuff,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of hung up on Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a whole mystery novel just in that, right?
Absolutely. And I think it adds to the allure of it all, right? That we still don't know who this person or people were.
So what clues do we have? What do we know about why they created this?
Well, we have to go back to the Genesis block, right? That very first block.
Yeah, January 3rd, 2009.
Exactly.
Big day for crypto.
And embedded in that block
Mm-hmm.
was a headline from the Times.
Oh, really?
It said, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. And that's not random.
Wow. Okay, so they're making a statement right from the start.
A statement right from the
Yeah.
start. So this was right after the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, I mean, people were really losing faith in the system back then.
Exactly. Lots of distrust.
So are you saying Bitcoin came out of that? Like, people wanted something different?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Something more transparent, more fair.
Decentralized,
Yeah.
where individuals could have more control.
Control their own money.
Their own money, exactly.
Wow, and the blockchain is what makes that possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real innovation here.
Explain it to me again, but like, I don't know. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
All right, so imagine a giant digital spreadsheet that keeps track of every Bitcoin transaction,
Every single one.
every single one.
Okay.
And this spreadsheet isn't kept in one place.
Okay.
It's distributed across a huge network of computers.
Oh, I see.
So to hack it, you'd have to hack thousands of computers all at once.
So that's why it's called trustless,
You got it.
because you don't have to trust anyone.
No single person or institution,
It's all built into the system.
the system itself.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a big idea.
But I think what really got people interested,
Oh, yeah.
what really got people talking about Bitcoin,
The price.
the price.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it's enough to give anyone a heart attack, right?
So let's take a look at that roller coaster ride
Okay.
and highlight some of the key moments along the way.
All right, so back in 2011,
Yeah.
Bitcoin went from like $1 to $32.
In just a few months.
Imagine that.
I know. The early adopters
Oh, man.
must have been freaking out.
Thrilled, but also terrified.
I know, right? But as with anything new, right?
Yeah.
And especially something this volatile, there are going to be corrections.
And there were, right? Like
Absolutely.
2013 was crazy.
2 huge surges followed by huge drops.
Huge drops, yeah.
So what is it that drives these crazy swings?
Well, there's a lot at play.
Okay.
It's not just speculation, although,
Although that's definitely part of it.
yeah, for sure. But what else? Well, we talked about the halving events.
Yeah, the reward getting cut in half.
And historically, those events have often led to price increases.
Okay, so it's like that scarcity thing again.
Scarcity, right back to that. Less Bitcoin, higher price.
Makes sense.
But what about outside factors? Like, I don't know, governments and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Regulations.
Yeah.
Like when China cracked down on crypto exchanges,
When was that?
that was 2017.
That was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Price dropped.
So any kind of like uncertainty,
Uncertainty. Yeah.
people freak out.
Fear
Yeah.
leads to people selling.
Okay, but what about like good news? Does that ever boost the price?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when big companies started buying Bitcoin.
Oh, right, like Tesla.
Tesla, exactly. And that led to a surge.
So it's kind of like a balance.
Yeah, a delicate balance.
Between good news, bad news.
Technological developments, market sentiment.
All right, well, we can't talk about the price without mentioning 2018.
Oh, yeah.
The big crash.
From almost $20,000 down to like $3,700.
Ouch, right.
Ouch is right. That was rough.
What happened?
It was a perfect storm.
Okay.
You had worries about regulation,
Okay.
concerns about market manipulation, and then some high-profile hacks.
Right, that makes sense. That would shake people's confidence.
Exactly, and it did.
But even after that crash,
Bitcoin bounced back
Bitcoin bounced back.
like it always seems to.
Resilient, huh?
Yeah, you got to give it that.
But it's also had its fair share of criticism.
Oh, yeah, plenty of that.
So what are some of those criticisms?
Well, I think that's a great segue into the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so let's get into some of the criticisms.
Yeah, because it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
No, definitely not. Every technology has its downsides. So what are some of the big ones for Bitcoin?
Well, I think the big one, probably the one you hear the most, is just the volatility.
Yeah.
Risky, right?
It's definitely not for everyone.
Not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
But hasn't that also been part of the appeal? Like
Oh, yeah.
the potential for these huge gains?
Absolutely.
High risk, high reward, right?
That's the gamble a lot of people are taking.
But yeah, if you're looking for something stable,
Yeah, if you want stability,
that's not Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's not it.
So what else? What are some other concerns?
Security.
Okay. Yeah.
While the blockchain itself is very secure,
Yeah.
you've got exchanges, wallets.
Right.
Those have been hacked.
And we've seen that.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
So, you got to be careful.
Choose your exchange wisely. Use a good wallet.
And then you've got the environmental concerns.
Right, the energy use.
Mining takes a lot of power,
Yeah. A lot of computing power.
which means a lot of energy.
And that's bad for the environment.
Potentially, yeah.
There are people working on making it more sustainable, right?
Yeah, there's a push towards renewable energy,
Okay.
but it's something to think about.
So we've got volatility,
Mhm.
security, environment.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot to consider.
It is, but
But you also have to remember, this is still a new technology.
very new.
It's constantly changing.
Evolving, absolutely.
So who knows what the future holds, right?
That's the exciting part.
And speaking of the future,
Yeah.
what about this Lightning Network thing?
Ah, the Lightning Network.
It's supposed to make Bitcoin faster, cheaper,
That's the goal.
Yeah.
It's like a layer on top of the blockchain.
Oh,
So it takes some of the load off.
So it can handle more transactions.
More transactions, lower fees.
That could be huge.
Potentially, yeah.
Because scalability has always been a big issue.
It has.
So this could solve that.
It could. We'll have to see.
Okay, so I think we've covered a lot today.
We have.
We've gone through the history, the price, the criticisms, the future.
It's been a journey,
Yeah, a wild ride.
like Bitcoin itself.
So for our listeners out there,
Yeah, this was all for you guys.
what are your thoughts?
What resonated with you?
What was the most interesting part?
Is it the mystery of Satoshi?
The blockchain?
The price swings?
I mean, Bitcoin is more than just a digital currency, right?
And a whole movement
Yeah, a new way of thinking about money.
in finance.
And it's still evolving.
Absolutely.
So who knows what the future holds?
A big question is,
Yeah.
will Bitcoin, will it be the one?
Will it be the future of money?
Will something else come along and take its place?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
That's the beauty of it.
The story's not over yet.
And it's definitely a story worth following.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.